and welcome to Grossly Competent, the learning, development, and adulting podcast that does not claim to be pretty, but we will happily pretend to be slightly competent. I am your host, Steve Counselor. I'm joined by my co-host, a man that thinks the term getting a facial means buying a new mask, Mr. Patrick Ailshire.
Well, thank you, Steve. And I'll have you know that I recently shopped at Masks R Us and got an upgrade. Can you tell?
No.
Well, Steve, but I appreciate the introduction. I am glad we got that out of your system early so we can move on to the part of the show where things start making sense.
I like that. And I think we have a lot of things to make sense of today, good sir. But before we dive into that, would you mind letting us know who our sponsor of the week is?
Today's show is brought to you by Mirror Reality Check. You felt great until you saw yourself under fluorescent lighting. Mirror Reality Check. Honesty without consent.
Oh my. Wow. That's a scathing one. Holy. Yeah, they sure did. Do you think they were trying to tell us something? Do you think Big Mirror Reality Check was trying to tell us something? Wow. You know, that reminds me. Oh, go ahead.
We've said this on the air, so it's not a surprise, but the fact that we have to pay our sponsors, maybe if they could just throw us a bone here once in a while, or just take the foot off the gas. Jeez.
Well, one time they did throw a bone at us, but it got stuck in my face.
So, underneath the mask, yeah.
Gosh. My skin's like pudding, and it just kind of like stuck right to it. Don't know where the hell I got that from. But your bit on Mirror Reality Check reminds me of that scene in was it Beer Fest? That's like
yeah.
What the hell is that? I know that I can't think of the name of the group of guys. They're the ones who like Super Troopers and stuff, where he's at the bar and he goes into the bathroom and he looks in the mirror and he's like all suave and debonair. And he goes, finds a girl and starts dancing with her, right? And like he thinks he's so cool. And then it pans to him in real life and he is just a slobbery, nasty mess. That's Mirror Reality Check for all of us. Holy smokes. You know, conference and event organizers, just so you know, Patrick and I are always happy to take a trip and perform this debacle of a show live for an audience. I mean, just think of all the people that will come up with excuses not to attend. I mean, just what a wonderful thing.
For sure. And if requested, we can bring the bags that are usually over our heads. That's not a problem whatsoever.
And if people want to bring their own bags and want us to sign them, we can do that. We can totally do that.
We're the only group that would be at events. Let's say it's like some sort of maker's market or something like that, where our swag would be grocery bags.
You got yourself a Kroger bag? Oh, man. I heard those are rare.
No, but the guys told me that paper is cool, but if you put a plastic bag over your head. Wait,
no, we do not encourage such things. No.
I love the idea of recording in person. I think that'd be awesome if we got that opportunity at some point. What are you feeling for today's episode?
Not much. Oh, sorry. That was up to you, but
thank you all.
You wanted me to introduce it. No, I'm joking. So today, in the spirit of all things disruptive in the professional space, I thought it would be fun for us to chat about worn-out workplace tropes and just dig into them, what they actually mean, and like what's going on underneath the surface.
Steve, I was actually thinking we go in a different direction. You think we could circle back to this topic? If you want, we can take this offline and then start recording after.
Yeah, the corporate speak. It's so good. Have you heard, I just recently heard this and I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And that is, let's double click on that. Have you heard that? Like, have you heard somebody say that in a meeting?
Absolutely hate it.
Yeah. What that means, why? Like, let's go deeper into it. Like when you double click on an image, it zooms it in. Yeah. I contemplated how I could hurt myself. Folks, you clearly can't see it, but Patrick just took his headphones off, slammed them down, and started getting up like he was walking off the podcast. I didn't invent that. I heard that. I do not shoot the messenger. I heard this.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
Is abysmal. So, listener land locals, if you're not entirely sure what I mean by worn out workplace tropes, say that like 50 times fast. I'm going to try to set the scene for you. And really, you will know what I'm talking about once we dive in. These are those tired ass old phrases that get tossed around because genuinely there's an overall lack of understanding on the subject. Like that's just, if we're going to cut to the chase, that's what it is. For example, nobody wants to work anymore. That is such a crock. Or my other, like the alternative side to that is older people can't learn new technology. That's just blatantly false. You know, they're just tired cliches that get repeated ad nauseum because it's easy to say them and it takes the ownership away from leadership. Like it puts the onus on the other person. Is there truth? I sure. Just like there's truth to basically anything, right? And in this case, nobody wants to work anymore, or older people can't learn new technology. Well, you could say the opposite, that everybody wants to work and younger people can't learn new technology. Yeah, that doesn't make the others less true or false. It's just they're dumb. They're pathetic little sayings. So I thought it'd be fun for us to just kind of banter on these. And what are some of them that you've heard? We can kind of go back and forth. I don't care. Like, it just doesn't matter to me. What do you have any of these worn out workplace tropes up your sleeve?
You know, this is a fun topic, Steve. I'm glad you picked it. And going back to what you were saying about nobody wants to work and older people can't learn technology. I mean, this is one, those are stereotypes. And two, that speaks into the multi-generational leadership training that I do. We bring up that Gen Z just doesn't want to work and old people don't get technology. And it's not productive comments to make.
No.
But really, with the tropes overall, there's so many. And it's hard to pick some of my favorites. One of the phrases that I absolutely love to hate is per my last email, when someone will say that. I want to channel my inner Chandler Bing from Friends. Could you be any more passive aggressive? I mean, that one is so bad, that phrase.
It is awful. Yeah.
Another one I thought of, which one I have used on countless occasions, but the more I think about it, it's maybe not the best, just because it's another way to push things to the side and not really deal with the issues, is let's put that in the parking lot. I know I've said that during like team building events, and I've been part of trainings where it's been the facilitator has said, oh yeah, we'll put that in the parking lot. And I get the activity. I like that activity for what it is, as far as like, we have a lot of ideas and we just can't get to that right now. But the more I think about it, is it's a spot where ideas and concerns sometimes can go to die. I'm thinking back to, and not my own, the trainings I facilitate, we don't necessarily use that a lot, just because in some of the trainings I do, we need to get to the heart of the matter in that time. We don't have, this is not a continuing series. It's employees. I might have 25 in the room that I may not see for another year or two. So we like to just get to those points, right? But I'm thinking back to other trainings I've been, or even some like employee team building events I've been a part of. When we fill out the parking lot, does anyone ever see the parking lot again? I mean, we could probably just go ahead and call this the junkyard, because I don't think those things actually get revisited.
I think you raise a very valid point. in that if you don't actually revisit it, then what's the point of doing it to begin with? Now, I will admit I've been guilty of having that parking lot and then being like, oh, shoot, I forgot to get back to it. But I really have made it a conscious effort to like, okay, if somebody asks me a question in the moment, I genuinely don't know it. I'll either write it down, or something I've employed is I will have somebody in the group be a note taker. Like, ooh, that's a great question. I want to make sure I get back to that. Would you write that down for me so we can get back to it? Then it's not distracting like on a board where they're just sitting there staring at it. And then at the end, it's like, hey, we had some questions on there, right? Like, can we revisit those now? And case in point, I don't want to derail the subject too hard. Last month, yes, it was last month. Last month, I was doing a session on conflict management, and specifically on the Thomas Kilmann conflict mode instrument. I know I talked about that last episode, so I'll just be brief. It is a system that tries to dissect how individuals manage conflict. That's about as simplified as I can possibly get. And it breaks it down into 5 different categories, and there's like a graph and all sorts of goofy stuff. But anyway, at the end of the session, I had a participant raise their hand and ask, hey, interestingly, where does passive aggressiveness land on the graph? Like, a legitimate question. And I didn't know the answer off the top of my head. I'm like, oh, wow. I don't know. Like, he brings it up in the certification process but I don't remember. So I did what everybody that's amazing does, and I Googled it. And the thing I didn't like is that there was nothing directly from Kilmann Diagnostics. That's the organization that runs TKI. There was nothing directly from them. It was all like blogs and junk. Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's not an answer I want to give. So I don't know what prompted me to do it, but I decided to attempt to reach out to Dr. Ralph Kilmann. He's one of the co-authors of the actual instrument. Just sent him a message like, hey, I had this question pop up in class. Do you have an answer? Genuinely not expecting to hear back. 45 minutes later, maybe an hour, he sent me back a message, and it was fully articulate. Like, he had sources. Like, this guy was on target. I was blown away. So I think that would be a valid use of the parking lot in that instant. But you're right. Like, I'm not throwing stones, man. I've been plenty of times. It may as well just be a junkyard.
I was waiting for you to respond in the moment, and you wouldn't do this because you're a professional, to respond to that woman's question with, geez, I don't know. That's a great question. I wonder where I could find that out. It's too bad that there's not some sort of Google to find those answers.
If only there was a rectangular device. No, no, that's like
a good question.
Yeah, it was a really awesome question. And I think I knew the answer, and it actually turned out I was reasonably accurate with my answer, but it was good. Like, who better to answer the question than the guy that wrote the damn program? Like, you kidding me? That's insane. Yeah. So, okay. So I like that parking lot. If it's not being used, then just throw it in the trash. Right? I know this is, I hope it's not controversial, but one that I am really happy to start officially seeing on its way out, at least in the circles that I'm involved in, is this idea that the best workers become the best managers.
Ooh.
And my God, that cannot be further from the truth. Like, in some instances, sure. But I believe Linnell Meath, when we had her on, she said something along this line too, of that she's glad also that we're moving away from this. We're moving more towards a skill set era of, it's more, what are your skills that you bring to the table rather than how much time have you spent in your role? Like, time does not equate skill. It just doesn't. It can help, but it does not help you be better at it. I don't know. I guess I'll give an example. Are you okay if I dive into this one?
Yeah.
Cool. this really came to light for me specifically. And I was a firm believer of that. Like, I had that age-old background of thinking, yeah, the more time you're in a position, well, then clearly you know more. And that was very, very early on in my career, mainly because that is what people drilled into me.
Mm-hmm.
But I was at an organization. I had a specific service professional. I'm going to give her a shout out. Chances are maybe she's listening. I don't know. Her name is Joanna. She's wonderful. And she was amazing. Like, she was the top all the time. She hit all the right things and all the right metrics, just like your quintessential star employee. So when we developed a field training program, who better to have in the flagship field training program than like your star employee? So we got her integrated into that. I thought it'd be sunshine and rainbows. I was so wrong, because I was getting inundated by people, like new hires contacting me and saying, like, I want to be placed with a new person. I want to be like, this isn't working for me. I'm like, what? Joanna's awesome. Like, are you out of your mind? So finally, I just asked her, like, hey, what's going on? How's field training going? She hated it. Absolutely hated it. She's like, I hate field training. I just like to do what I do. I'm good at it. Why would I rock the boat? I don't want to be a manager. I don't want that responsibility. I just like doing what I do, and I'm good at it. So I dropped her. I'm like, okay, then you're done. You don't have to. No hard feelings. She couldn't have been happier. I couldn't have been happier, because I was thinking, whoa, what is happening here? But lesson learned. She had all the experience in the world. I mean, she had been in the position for like 20 years. She was amazing, but she just had no aspirations, like, for the advancement. She liked what she was doing, and she stuck with it. So I think that was my wake up call of going, oh, got it. That trope is dead to me. Yeah.
That's a really valid point. When I worked in manufacturing and I switched careers from teaching to training, that was a similar thing, where for a while they were basically creating these floor trainers that had experience. Okay, so you're going to be the one that trains the new people when they come on the floor. And there was a lot of them were like, no, I literally just wanted to pack my parts and check them for defects and go about my day. I don't want to teach someone else the job. And that was, I'm glad they were honest with that, because we were able to then actually go out and find people who were interested. It wasn't just giving it to the person at that machine that day. Like, you can't do that. And, you know, it just goes to the fact that not everyone wants to be in management. It's crucial for employees to not only upskill, but also to reskill. So keep your employees satisfied by offering ways that can help them grow in their current role and perhaps future role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
Sometimes associate level employees, this might sound familiar, enjoy their job and they don't want to deal with having others report to them. They'd rather save the stress and enjoy outside activities like starting a business and hosting an L&D podcast.
Gosh, who would that be?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Could be me. I don't know.
I don't know. That sounds lame. No, but I think that is extremely valid. The idea of upskilling and reskilling people is huge. So to kind of like come back to that original theory, or that idea that when I brought up these worn out tropes, is that there might be a base of truth to them, right? Like the idea that somebody that's in a position for a long time, yes, they garner experience and they might be a bit more fluid at it than somebody else. You know, more kind of the whole sports and that kind of thing, right? The more reps you get, the better you typically are. Holy cool. Great. You do a lot of practices. Wonderful. But just because you're in a specific position doesn't mean you automatically want to have that next role in the ladder, the hierarchy. Like, and I respect the daylights out of that. Some people, as you said, just want their orders, that they fill it, and they ship it and that's it. They're done. Because the cool thing about that is when it hits 4 or 5 o'clock, whenever quitting time is, they get to slam that clock, get the hell out of there, and think nothing of that place until the next day or after the weekend or whatever. Like, what a wonderful thing. I totally understand where they're coming from. I don't fault anybody that has that kind of view. And then some people, I like having a team of people. I like that the challenge of having reports. I like kind of having the culture shifts and the development. I like all that stuff. I'm also a glutton for absolute punishment. So what, whatever. I don't know. It's one of those things. I couldn't see doing what I do without it, as weird as that sounds, because I've been in that space for longer than probably I have without. No, that's awesome. I'm trying to think here. What else? Ooh, okay. I have one. I have one for you. How about long hours equal higher productivity? Do you like that one? Big fan?
Absolutely not. No.
Why? What? Isn't it true though?
It's not, Steve. It's not true.
What? This just in. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen, on Grossly Competent. The longer you spend working doesn't equal you being more productive.
Work,
Consider
not hard.
Whoa. Consider my mind blown. This episode's brought to you by sarcasm. No, I knew that one irritated you, so I just had to toss it out there. Yeah, man. I feel like I've been talking a lot. So, like, what are your thoughts on the whole idea of long hours, higher productivity? Like, what do you think of that? And I'll tell you what I think.
I don't love that, because going back to my whole point, there is of the working smarter, not harder. There are ways to get your things done in the time that you need to, and going necessarily above and beyond with your hours doesn't necessarily make you a better worker. Yes, maybe you put more time in, but maybe the process that you took wasn't the most efficient way. Now, if you're getting paid by the hour, you've just cost the company X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
Where you could have saved them X amount of dollars by putting in 8 hours less or whatever the fact is. And it kind of goes to the point I want to make as far as like just trust, right? Trusting your employees, flexibility, the autonomy, etc. all over,
Mm-hmm.
I want my manager to tell me what they want accomplished.
Yeah.
Patrick, this is what I would like you to do. Now, if there's that freedom or flexibility, let me attack that problem the way I see fit.
Yeah.
Now, versus just saying it's the, tell me, don't necessarily have to show me.
Yeah.
Unless I come to you and say, hey, I'm thinking about these few ways to do this. Do you have suggestions? And then they can say, yeah, this is how I would do it. However, if you find a more efficient process, by all means, go ahead. And then I can say, hey, not only did I find it more efficient, it saved time, it saved money. And that's all employers really should care about versus, well, you need to we work, around the clock here. And when I email you at 9 p.m., why haven't you responded?
Oh, I know. Oh, I like that you mentioned this idea of costing the organization, right? Like, oh, well, if you do it inefficiently, you're costing the organization. And for some people, that sentiment is going to fall on deaf ears because they just don't care, right? Like, oh, well, they pay me. I don't care. Does my check clear? I don't care. The way I look at that, like the long hours equals higher productivity, is like in your personal life, right? Like if I need to clean my house, I can either spend an entire day doing it, or I can try to figure out efficient ways to do it so then I have more free time.
Yeah.
Like, if I can vacuum my house by kind of planning things out, and I can do it so it takes me 45 minutes or half an hour, whatever the hell it is, right? Or I can spend 3 hours just slow as hell going through every room, just nicking away. I'm only costing myself.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I get it. Some people are paid hourly, so they're like, yeah, so what? People notice that. Like, if you think for a second that your managers are like, they don't notice, like, why did it take you 4 hours to send an email? Like, why do that? Not that you need to be like hyper productive where it's almost to a detriment. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just be realistic about it. Like, I remember at a former organization, I would make videos. Like, I would make these animated videos using a product called Beyond. We will gladly be sponsored by you, Beyond. Anyway, sincerely, I love that program. It's awesome. So I would make these videos, and I got really good at it. That I could churn them out relatively quickly. But I would tell people it's going to be about 2 weeks because I need to make sure that I format it correctly. I would do my voiceover. I want to make sure things aligned, script writing, you name it. Could I have realistically said, yeah, I'll have it done in like 3-4 days? Sure. But then I'm speeding it up for myself. And what if something goes wrong? Then they're mad at me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, but if I get it to them in 6 days rather than 10, well, then they're really happy. Like, I was choosing to give them a greater time frame to expect something, but then over delivering. And they were always happy about it. Like, oh, you did it. That was great. Thank you. I didn't need to spend longer hours doing it. I didn't actually slow roll it. Like, okay, I'm going to point. I'm not Sloth from Zootopia, like in the DMV, slowly clicking things. Like, I'm just hurting myself at that point. I feel like I'm just belaboring the subject, but I think you get where I'm going with that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think that's those are really good points to make, because again, and that's how you'd love for employees to feel about, wow, what would this be like if it was in my own personal life about saving time and costs and everything. And so I think that's a great example of.
On that same note, sorry, but on the same note, because I can't help it, I really want to get this one out there. How about remote workers don't do anything? Or remote workers aren't as productive? You must love that one. So listeners out there, if you're unaware, Patrick is remote.
That is true. I am remote for the most part. I do in-person training through my employer when requested. Yeah. But the whole, it's comical because, and Steve, maybe this is similar to you, but when you've worked in the past, I found I am much more productive at home when I have the absolute, what I consider perfect setup with my dual monitors. I have times where I can focus just on work. I don't have Steve from accounting coming over to talk to me about the football game last weekend. Like, when I put on the office now, Steve, it's catch up. It's playing, hey, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Yes. It's a lot of distractions. So I think again, depending on what industry you're in, it might be different, but the whole pushback of back to the office, I think a lot of that just stems from people paying rent and wanting to get their money's worth, where you have to pay rent to begin with.
No, I don't think that's a conspiracy theory. I think that is flat out the truth. I had to throw this one out there because I knew it was going to be just one of those little daggers. Get ya. But Patrick, you said it earlier. Yeah, I was remote for, let me see when's here. 6, I think. Yeah, about 6 years. Maybe even 7. I don't know, somewhere in there. I'm with you, man. I was way more productive. And not to say, great, I'm going to have people that I work with right now. But I also think that my position is very different now compared to then. Like, when I was first starting in my remoteness, if you will, I didn't have any reports like when I was first starting. And then eventually I started accruing individuals. And that's fine. That's all great, whatever. But right now I have people that report to me on site. So it makes sense that I would also be on site. But yeah, I mean, the studies have shown that the majority of people that work remotely are actually far more productive, which is such an odd thing for organizations to fight, right? Like, no, if I don't see you, that means you're not doing something.
No, and a tie-in is that they're happier, and maybe they're more successful because they're happier that they didn't have to sit in traffic for, name your city, X amount of minutes, right? And so you're back and forth. And once a majority of remote workers were able to experience that, and I say majority because a lot of people maybe didn't work remote before COVID, but once they got a taste of that and they realized that, wow, things can still proceed.
Mm-hmm.
We can still do our jobs without having to commute X amount of minutes, then it's hard to take that away from people and to say, well, we just want you there because for some reason, we believe that you love coming to the office and you love getting your work done at your cubicle.
The common thing that I hear businesses or organizations say, like what you're saying about like, oh, you love coming to work, is that meetings, like in-person meetings, are far more collaborative. That is sincerely not the truth. It is not the truth. We have all, I would bet, we have all been in those meetings that should have been an email.
Mm-hmm.
We've all witnessed them. Hell, I had a coworker of mine and we used to play bingo during certain meetings. We would have a bingo sheet of key phrases that we knew people would say and check them off. Like, talk about a waste of time. Like, that's preposterous.
Yes.
No, oh my gosh, it is wild. Now, I mentioned that I am on site. I'm 100% on site. Now, let me throw this out there just so folks don't think that I'm smashing being on site. I am very fortunate that where I'm at right now is all of 15 minutes away from home. I have no traffic because it's all just like back roads, and their work-life balance is incredible. So if I need to leave for an appointment in the middle of the day, they're like, yeah, cool, great. Like as long as you get your things done. Yeah. As you said earlier, Patrick, trust. Can you get your things done? Do I trust that you're doing what you do? Fantastic. Well, then why wouldn't I afford you that decency to do it? Yeah. And I think it's just easier. I think it's one of those weird things. It's easy for organizations because of what you said, like rent, or they equate seeing as productive. And that's genuinely just not the case.
No.
And if you don't believe Patrick and I, do yourself a favor, on-siters. Look around your office for that guy. And you're going to know who I'm talking about. They're the one that just walks around from, say, I don't know, the start of the workday until roughly the lunch hour, where they just slowly meander around the office talking to people. And they claim they're super busy, but you never see them actually at their desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what everybody knows that guy.
Yeah.
That was Dave for me at a former place. Like, wow, Dave's not in his office. That's so bizarre. Wow. Oh, he's chatting. Huh. Who'd have thought? I don't know. I'm trying to think if I have any more. Do you have any more?
I mean, there's plenty that I see either in emails or in person where it's like, let's circle back.
Oh, so dumb.
I just keep thinking about your double click one though, and that one
is the worst, right? That is the worst. It's trash. Well, on that, okay, so if that's the case, Patrick, do you know who can never be considered a worn-out trope in our book.
Hell yeah. That is Spin-a-Wooski.
So spin it, spin, spin, spin it.
So, Steve, I got a story for you, and I am going to surprise you on the air here. I didn't get a chance to talk to you about this, but everyone knows that the Spin-a-Wooski wheel is generally going on in my background on my screen. So Steve isn't really able to see that, right?
Those are lies. Those are lies. It's a real wooden wheel. No,
You already blew it and told the audience in episode 4 or whatever, but no.
you know, really?
Yes.
Oh, remember that?
We're still spinning the wheel. Okay.
Okay. What is it?
I like it since we had episode 25 a few weeks ago. I went down the list and named every person we had. And episode 26 was last week. We had Maya, and we loved we love Maya. We said Maya, awesome. I had a student named Maya. And for some reason that kind of stuck with me. After we got off the air, I was like, I feel like we might have had Maya. But
Did we?
I went back. Here's the thing. I looked back at episode 20. We had and I pronounced it, and this is going to be, I'm going to take blame on this one. We had a MIA. I think that's supposed to be pronounced Mia.
It is.
Yeah. And I said Maya. And so I went back and listened just to make sure if I covered my bases correctly. And so I want to apologize to Mia from episode 20. If you are listening, we'd love to have you call in. We still want to thank Maya for last week, but there's no possible way we can ever duplicate names. And so I will confirm that we did not. It was Maya, episode 20. I just can't read very well.
Oh my gosh.
Because what the hell, Steve, is at some point when someone's going to call in and they're going to say, hey, by the way, it was me. And maybe it's episode 46 when we'll say Tiffany, right? Tiffany's going to go, oh, by the way, I've listened to all your episodes. I was waiting for my name to be called, but FYI, you said Maya twice. I just don't want that to happen. I don't want anyone to feel guilty. And so, Mia, I am so sorry. You were our awesome name, Spin-a-Wooski name from episode 20. And Maya, thank you again for last episode.
Wow. This is legit the first I've heard this. This is so funny. So we're equal opportunity Spin-a-Wooskiers.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Way to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, I had to clear the air. I was feeling a little guilty about that when I looked at this. And
so awesome. Oh my God. I love this so much.
I did sign up. I did sign up for a reading class and a spelling class coming up. So,
I think you are genuinely being pretty hard on yourself. I think in the spur of the moment, you're like, Maya, whatever, am I get it, but I do believe you're correct. I do believe that would be pronounced Mia. We have an intern that's working with us right now, and her name is spelled that way, and it is Mia.
Well, I was going to say the way she spells it, she hasn't called in yet, so she has been M-I-A.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, folks, while Patrick fires up the wheel, I have no. Okay. I would like to remind any listeners out there, new and or old, that each episode we spin the Spin-a-Wooski. It's a wheel of names that might belong to the woman who so generously shoved Patrick and I into the Ugly Club all those years ago. And the goal of the Spin-a-Wooski is that we will eventually land on her name so we can thank her properly. All right, Partik, you ready to spin that Rooski?
Absolutely.
All right, count us down and let's do the spin. Boom. Bam. Ooh, look at that wooden wheel. Wow. Ooh, it's like Wheel of Fortune. Yeah.
It's hitting the wall. Steve, pull it back from the wall. Lucy!
What? No. Oh my gosh. Do you want to know what's really wild? Remember how I said I have an intern that's working for us named Maya? I also have an intern in the same group named Lucy. That's really wild. Anyway, wow, Lucy. Holy smokes.
Incredible.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's going to come back around. We're going to have these instances where the Spinnerooski starts to do some weird voodoo type stuff.
Yeah. We might need to change like the intro theme for the Spinnerooski to be like the X-Files theme. Of course, it won't exactly be the X-Files theme. We don't have that kind of money.
I will be searching for X-Files-like music.
It's going to be like Vanilla Ice claiming that wasn't the bass riff, the Queen, like.
No. His goes din 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 din. Ours goes din 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 din. It's got that extra little din in there.
Like that.
And then we're
wow, people don't really
boys sing to the end.
Nobody is listening that wants to hear us do like doots.
We already discussed this. They have logged off 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, roughly. I think right after the sponsor. After there. Well, Lucy, we love you. Thank you so much for everything you've given us. We greatly appreciate you, and we hope you feel appreciated. Patrick, you want to send us out of here?
Let's do it.
Nice.
Well, everyone, we appreciate you so much for listening. It's always a pleasure for Steve and I to record these episodes. Not only the recording itself, but I think just the planning and the texting back and forth, like, oh, I've got an idea for this, or I've got an idea for that, or, oh shit, there's a bird in my house. But anyways, I digress. That about does it for today's episode. Thank you, everyone in Listenerland, for joining us. If you like what you're hearing and you want to support the show, here are the best ways possible.
You can subscribe, follow, and give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere that you get your podcasts. You can visit us on Buzzsprout at grosslycompetent.buzzsprout.com. Here you can become an active supporter and help us with the show. Genuinely, every cent counts. We wildly appreciate it. Give us a shout on Instagram at grosslycompetent. You can email us if that's your jam at grosslycompetent@gmail.com. But really, if you don't want to do any of those things, what we would love more than anything is for you to just spread the word about this show. Tell your friends, family, coworkers, the super awesome L&D person at your company, whomever. Maybe you want to tell Lucy. If you work with a Lucy, say, hey, you were the Spinnerooski of the week, and they're going to go, don't talk to me. Like, tell them about this podcast. We would love for you to do that.
We appreciate all of you more than you know. It's truly labor of love, and any support you can throw our way truly means the world to us. This show, as we said last week, takes a little bit of effort from two guys who unfortunately look like us, but we are grateful we get to bring it to you each and every week.
You're right. Like it is a labor of love, right? Like we do genuinely love doing this. And believe it or not, for the dumpster fire that you listen to on a weekly basis, there is actually quite a bit of planning and strategy goes on in the background. So just imagine if like you supported us. Like, holy smokes, that'd be pretty wild.
Extra shout outs.
Oh, we would give some shout outs. Speaking of which, Patrick, do you have any shout outs this week?
I do. I might give a shout out to a gentleman named Bob Miller. He reached out to us on LinkedIn.
He did. He did.
Commented on a recent post about our show, and he simply said he's proud of Brent. Now, Brent happens to be the name of my father. I don't know exactly if he was referring to my dad or just a Brent in general, but I'm truly thinking that Brent enjoyed the birthday shout out from a couple episodes ago. This is episode 25. I believe that was the episode we said happy birthday, Dad. We sung somewhat awesomely, terribly on our birthday.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Right. Okay. So I'm assuming that's what he was referring to. He was proud of my dad. He maybe knows my dad. He was, hey, I'm proud he had a birthday. Like, you're still alive. Great. Or that went dark. Sorry. Or it could be a complete mistake, and Bob thought he was on Facebook. Either way, we appreciate you, Bob. Truly, thank you so much for listening. That's fantastic.
That's actually really sweet. I'll admit, when I saw, proud of you, Brent, I sent Patrick a text and went, that's really nice, but who's Brent? Like, what? But now you have to realize, I always assumed your dad's name was Mr. I didn't know that he had a real name. I thought he was just Mr. No, but I guess I just didn't know that was your dad's name.
I had to Google it because I called him Dad.
Oh my God. What a train wreck. Well,
have any shout outs, Steve?
As a matter of fact, I do. And why don't we just keep on the Aylshire train while we're at it? I would like to give you, Mr. Patrick, a shout out because you have officially finished the OA on Netflix.
Oh, good.
So wild ride? Was it a wild ride?
It was a wild ride. It was everything I expected, not as far as what happened, but the fact that you're like, just wait till you get to the ending because there is no conclusion. And I patiently waited and was just hoping that there was a conclusion, and there wasn't. And it was a really we'll say, bending show. So I don't say a naughty word on here. It was great. It was great, but it was also very puzzling, and it made me question a lot of things in life. And yeah, it was great. I'm really glad I watched it. I texted Steve, I think when I had like an episode or two to go, and just said, I prepared him, like, by the way, a text is coming, because he was very clear. You need to let me know when you get to the end. And so I made a point where once I got to the second season, I was like, okay, I'm going to peel away here. And then like the Olympics started, and there were some other things I was watching on TV, and I was like, okay, nope, I got to get this done. And I finished it over the weekend a couple weeks back. So
what I like is I was so happy to get that text, and I sent you this response like, yeah, it really makes you think of this. And your response was like, you need to give me like 10 minutes. I'm not ready.
I told you I needed to sleep on it. That's what that was. Like, yeah, you know what? That's great, but my brain can't handle thinking more about the show right now. So yeah.
See, this episode is it's just coming up all Aylshires. So shout outs to your dad. Shout outs to Bob Miller on LinkedIn. Shout out to you. I think we got to end on a positive note. Like, we should probably close this shop. What do you think, man?
Let's do it, Steve.
All right. So, folks, that's it for this episode. Uggos, you're amazing. We love you. We will see you at the next one. And thanks again. Sing.
Not going to tap on the desk like I used to. Just, yeah.
Oh, man.
What's that? They get the slow clap and then.
Was it like not another teen movie where they make fun of that?
Right. Yeah.
It's not the time yet. Stop it.
Oh, sorry.